exactly how real is real time.
Mhm.
So when you're thinking about the content that you're going to generate or what you're going to provide, are you talking about something which is while you're in the middle of, like, say, a customer journey? What are you providing? How different is that based upon some either assessment that you're doing of the input that you're getting from the customer, or potentially some other indicator that you're using to alter the path?
Growing a business requires a holistic approach that extends beyond sales and marketing. This approach needs alignment among people, processes, and technologies. So if you're a business owner, operations, or finance leader looking to learn growth strategies from your peers and competitors, you're tuned into the right podcast. Welcome to the WBS Podcast, where scalable growth using business systems is our number one priority. Now, here is your host, Sam Gupta.
Hello and welcome to Analysts Gone Wild. Hope everybody's doing well today. I think we're on episode 25. Is that correct, everyone? I mean, we've been doing this since the beginning of the year, and 25 is sounds pretty good because we're in the year 2025. But I'm with three of my acclaimed analysts here, and we'll start with some introductions. I'm Robert Kramer with More Insights and Strategy. I cover ERP and data protection, supply chain management, anything to do with those types of things. But why don't we go around the horn? We'll start with Thomas. Where are you at today, Thomas? Seattle or South Carolina, or where are we at?
No, still Seattle area. This is the day of departure, actually.
Oh my God. What time are you leaving? Right after this?
No, 2 hours later. There needs to be a little tidying up. No.
Is this a drive? Or you got dogs, or how do you get to move and get out of there and go to the East Coast?
A long drive.
Okay.
Accompanied by wife and dog. And
Okay.
maybe there's some space in the car for me for luggage reasons.
He's so young. He can drive for so
don't
long.
need that. I've done
And
that.
when I got 3 daughters and a wife, there's lots of luggage.
So you taking 2 cars, or how you guys doing
No,
this?
just 1 car and a roof rack.
Oh my God.
Ooh,
I'm
Yeah,
out
so
for that.
yeah, let's see
Gonna be
whether that
cozy.
was too cold or not.
Yeah, sounds fun. All right, so that's Thomas with Head CRM, and he'll weigh in on some good CRM stuff. And Ken, what's going on with you today?
Hey, Ken Gonzalez here, lead advisor at Pretty Simple Group, and coverage areas CIO topics and infrastructure and operations, and whatever anybody else this exhibits interest in. That's where I kind of steer myself off of.
Sounds good.
I am not moving, by the way, or taking a vacation. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sam, how about yourself?
Yeah, Sam Gupta, Elevate IQ. Our focus is enterprise software. Robert, let me tell you that today I am in a particular bad mood. Generally, we are whiny on this show, but bad mood because of the StreamYard. They seem to have changed the interface, and I'm not getting the hang of it. On your comment related to 25, today we don't have the Blue Jays game, so I don't think we are going to have 25 home runs today. That seems to be the trend with Blue Jays. Over to you, Robert.
Well, so what did everybody do before we jump into it? Let's get a little personal. What did we all do for the 4th of July? I believe it was a nice long holiday, and I got to do some kayaking in the ocean and some barbecuing, and kind of was tired after it all. It was supposed to be a break, but it was a lot of fun. You guys do anything?
I mean,
Ken,
with me, little kids, so time at park, fireworks, so many different things, anything and everything related to our kids. Yeah.
Thomas or Ken, anything fun?
Sorry, repeat, please.
Anything fun that you did over the holiday besides packing?
Work.
All right, well, that's boring.
I did some work.
Loosen up a little bit.
What is holiday?
Yeah. Ken, how about you?
I worked a little bit, but I did have some fun. So there was barbecue involved for sure. And I also, one of the things people may not know about me is a part-time musician here in the Pacific Northwest. So I actually had a gig and played a block party in Lincoln City, Oregon. So that was great fun. Just got to hang out with people who were celebrating and
what instrument?
Enjoy myself.
What do you play?
Guitar.
Oh, fun!
And I also sing, so it's a solo act.
Oh.
And then you don't have it in your background as so many other people who don't play the guitar but have 2 or 3 or 5 of them.
I've got a full studio which is loaded with guitars and equipment. So yeah,
that's fun.
Hey, cool.
I know how to break the guitar if that could help.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay. So before we go to the first story, Sam, you're a Toronto Blue Jays fan, right? How are they doing this year?
I am, and they are doing fantastic. Like this show, after a long time, after a long time, they're doing really good this year. Yeah.
Well, I'm a St. Louis Cardinals fan. I'm from there, but I live in Virginia Beach, and they started off slow, got hot, now they're slow. So we'll look forward to see how the second half goes. But anyways, let's jump into our first story. It's deals with CallMiner acquires Vocals. So you all can weigh in on this, but this deals with another component of AI. It adds conversational, AI and voice automation to the platform of CallMiner. Why is this important? Because it gives pre-built voice bots, strengthens their automation platform for the customers, etc. But the bottom line is it gives the customers more automation using what they can from this Vocals, and also, I guess one of the big things is more of from an analytical perspective, more details. What do we all think? Is this a big deal? Another, like we've talked about in the past, Thomas, how you kind of say like, hey, this is just par for the course, but does this add any leg up over the competition?
Well, it makes sense. I mean, with generative, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be so guarded all the time. So with all the quote unquote Gen AI stuff that is coming up, voice is becoming a thing again. After it was pronounced about as dead as the email, it's really getting back to becoming a thing, because we are not only writing, we are talking, right? So the call center becomes more voice again. And at that point in time, you're pretty niche if you are only concentrating on the analytics. So it's for CallMiner a very good step to step out of this niche and to broaden the portfolio to also supply the voice connection as such.
Is this the part that comes in customer service before you can actually get to a representative and you hit 15 buttons and you can never get to one, and then you hang up and you're like, I'm out? Or is this it was a joke, but you know how that goes. Like you cannot get to somebody no matter what you do. Is this make it harder to get to that actual customer service person?
Depends on what they want to do, right? Of course, there's many a company that doesn't want you to talk to someone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, after all, for a customer, it's good if they leave their money with me, but service to them, no, thanks. But jokes apart, so the chance that they have is making it less of an ordeal to wait for someone being actually available and or to actually get a solution in between.
So before we turn it over to the rest of the team here, what do we want to from an efficiency standpoint when you have someone call into your company, you're the customer service organization? Sam, what do you think? Do you want 50% of these calls taken care of before it gets to a live agent? And what's the goal of these automation platforms?
So in my personal view, I mean, I am more about who's better from the experience perspective. And I'm not going to say AI is always bad. I have seen really, really bad support agents as well. So sometimes AI could be better. So I don't know if there is a percentage in terms of how I would do this. Sometimes it does get frustrating with machines. And you want to talk to a real human. But I don't know if there is a formula here, Robert, in terms of,
Yeah. Ken, what do you think?
So first off, I don't think there actually is a formula. Because when you think about the different areas that organizations provide support for and why they would engage a CallMiner or Vocals to, bring that together to make sense. So first off, I think it actually makes a lot of sense to bring the two things together. So this is part of a larger trend of industry consolidation, where people with dissimilar but complementary capabilities are coming together to better serve their installed base. And I think that makes a lot of sense just from a capabilities perspective. Where I think customers end up having to now start to make some decisions is around whether that acquisition and that now repackaged set of capabilities, how much extra is that going to cost them? Because if you're increasing their cost basis and you're not necessarily, it's convenient, but not necessary, then that poses a risk to the actual provider, because then at that point you're looking at, well, gee, who can I get that can provide similar capability but at a lower price point? So the stickiness actually goes down. But going back to the original point that I was starting to make that Sam was talking about, I think when you look at the different types of things that people contact you about, and this is going to vary from each of the different providers, if you're looking at what your customers call you about, the focus really should be on what the customer experience is like. How quickly can we get from doctor, it hurts when I go like this, to having whatever the underlying cause is resolved, or getting the person's issue handled in a timely manner. And you don't necessarily have the ability to go through and solicit all that detail. I mean, we've seen a lot of service desks that have tried to go through these complicated scripts that only tick people off because you ask too many darn questions instead of really understanding why it is I'm calling. And to the extent that we can actually use this to go through and get some insight into what's the consumer sentiment, where are the things that they might be having problems with, and instead of trying to use technology as our first line of defense, let's actually use it as a sorting strategy, so that I know if I hear anything that goes in a particular bucket, like this type of call, I'm going to route that immediately to a human so that they can ask meaningful, timely questions and get them on track to where we think they need to be. And then they're happier at the end of it.
Yeah.
I do think there is a formula, though. There has to be, from a business impact perspective. Like you said, like they're going to want to not have certain calls go to a representative, so they want to eliminate a certain amount. There's no reason they would want these type of voice conversational AI, platforms, unless they knew that they were going to get rid of, like 75% of those non-important calls being answered before they get to a representative. This is my opinion. There's no need. So
there you're already on the wrong trajectory terminology wise. So it's not bad calls. Yeah. So the client customer has a problem, is they wouldn't call.
Of course.
So and they would use a lower impact channel if that would have worked.
Yeah.
So insofar, yes, of course, there is a formula, a monetary formula. There must be one, but it's not like get rid of 50% or 70% of all calls. But it's a simple business case. So an interaction with an agent cost me, let's say, $5. Yeah, just to put a number. Yeah? And well, if I can avoid these $5 or replace them with an investment of $3, which is the investment into the voice technology, then things work out. Yeah. Just that the value generation and cost generation equation differs, because if you buy a system, the cost comes first. You need to calculate that over time. So in that sense, of course, there is a formula, but it's vastly different from this simplified, help me getting rid of 50% of all calls.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, is it exactly? I think we have a couple comments here. One's from Ron Westfall. Thanks for joining, Ron. And then we can move on to the next one. Sam, I don't know if you want to take this.
So this one, Ron is saying, agree with Ken that delivering unified UX across the combined offering will require development focus and testing resources. And I don't know where that comment is coming from, I guess. This one is more of the telco story. So I don't know. Do you guys have more context here?
I think that this is really organized more around the fact that this isn't a one size fits all proposition.
Yeah.
I think that there is a lot of, we have to bring some thought to it. And we have to consider, do some A/B testing and think about what the kinds of interactions that we're at. So we got to go back and look at the data. We got to go back and do some testing to find out from our customers' perspective, did we actually hit the mark? Did we get it done for them? Regardless of why they're trying to reach out, are we serving them? We can't just go through and say, oh, this is our current level of staff. And this is what I see a lot, which is customers will say, look, I'm at this level of spend. I want to be at this level of spend, because we're managing it as though it's a cost, when actually it's a driver of customer value, and we want to drive up customer value. So if I can take some of the lower priority stuff that people are, they're not as bothered about, and route that into automated tools so that I can get quicker resolutions. Or because a lot of times when I think about, I don't want to call somebody, I actually want to sort it out for myself. And if I have to call somebody, I will. But at that point, I want to make sure that I'm having a good interaction. And that's the way I'll evaluate any provider that I'm spending money with. And I think most people are the same way.
Yeah, and I think Leonard's bringing up a good point, how a senior, customer service agent has to be involved to make the call, making sure the answers are correct, et cetera. And it is about the data, Leonard. And I do think it gets into a little bit of that collaboration between human and robots to make sure that it's strategic and done correctly. What do you all think?
This is where CallMiner's original capabilities come into the picture, because that's exactly what they are doing.
Yeah, and this is where I guess one of the things that I want to highlight here is that we all have a lot of expectations in general with pretty much everything in life, right? So here, Leonard, you are asking for senior customer service agents, but obviously they are going to be very expensive, and that's the reason why everything was literally offshored. When you talk about any of the e-commerce sort of customer service, so you are getting these agents, but they are not paid very well. So obviously, the response that you are going to get, or the experience you are going to get, is not going to be as good. But at the same time, buddy, you are probably buying a product for $10. Okay, what do you expect? I mean, again, if you are going to hire a customer service agent that is going to have a billing rate of $200 an hour, I mean, it's not going to work, right? So that's where I guess AI will probably be a better fit in these scenarios. But I don't know. That would be my comment on that.
Leonard has some good comments as well.
Okay,
so he sees a promotion capability for customer service agents. Actually, it's not a bad idea. So the career trajectory is quite compelling.
So I'll read that for our audience. So Leonard is saying it's really good for the customer service agent, promoted from customer service to data management specialist. That could be quite a transition, I guess.
Yeah.
And could be very meaningful.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Yeah. I mean, customer service agent is kind of an endangered species right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move. Well, we got more from Ron here.
So Ron is saying many things can on perspective that solutions require alignment with unique customer requirements. And good day. Thanks for joining, Ron. All right, so I think let's go back, Robert, over to you. I'll take out this comment so that it's clear.
Yeah, let's move on to the next one. I think we'll go into Contentstack delivers industry first real-time audience. I'm not tremendously familiar with Contentstack, but I know that they deal with the CMS industry, and this is more about personalization of anything. From an automation content standpoint, visual technology, et cetera. But where do we think this hits home the most? Is this another one of those, like to talk about anything important here that we need to, or is this a more of a press release situation? from a marketing perspective. Thomas, what do you think?
Well, let's put it that way. I'm quite sure that John's meter would have a major a major escalation on this one. So, and
yeah, so he explain what that is. He puts it into a hype meter that it's overhyped and not.
So
go ahead.
Well, let's start off with industry first real-time audience. Define industry. So if that's the CMS industry, they are probably right. But this this is so full of nonsense actually that it's hard to start somewhere.
What are they giving the customers? It's a better access to data. Okay, fine. It's faster.
Yeah, and personalization, fine.
Yeah,
and real-time personalization, fine. Now look back 15 years. That's what all those journey orchestration companies do. What Adobe does for ever. So define industry, right? So if they mean the content management industry, then yes, they are probably right. Probably. But else, this is okay. Well, it's a kind of hello, I'm here.
Ken, what do you think?
Well, the thing that really stood out for me about this is real time. So exactly how real is real time? So when you're thinking about the content that you're going to generate or what you're going to provide, are you talking about something which is while you're in the middle of, like, say, a customer journey? What are you providing? How different is that based upon some either assessment that you're doing of the input that you're getting from the customer, or potentially some other indicator that you're using to alter the path? And what's the impact of altering the path? Would you actually be able to tell after the fact that had a meaningful impact on whatever your goal was, whether that's conversions or total sales? I question the real-time piece of it. I think we would need to know a little bit more to be able to make a more well-rounded assessment.
We are probably not talking the sub 20 millisecond time stamp that is often quoted for real time. Yeah, you're quite right there. But let's be lenient and give them a second or two.
Sure. Happy to do it.
Well,
Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, so I'll provide some background here. And overall, I guess, when you look at Contentstack, and one of the themes that is highlighted is headless. So in the headless world, if you look at the leading CMS providers, and that's a new category, right? In that, you have roughly 2 or 3 players, and Contentstack is definitely one of them. Okay. The way real time is reading, I don't know if they are really industry first. So you guys are maybe right there. But real time, as you guys correctly pointed out, that it could mean a lot of different things. Okay. You have some players such as Braze and Revo, and they are very close. And I always get confused between those two. And sometimes I'm wondering, why the hell would you choose similar names when you are sort of in the same industry? Okay. But at the same time, when you look at the real-time interactivity, when you look at this more from the media perspective, meaning you are watching a Blue Jays game and you want to interact and you want to push some products so that I can buy something. Obviously, that's the intent of a lot of different media companies, to serve the interest of their advertisers as well as their own personal interest. So that is one real-time component, but that is not the real time here. Okay. This real time is different. My understanding of this real time is going to be more of the CDP play. And this play is not unique. This is not first. We have seen CDP being part of CMS platform for a very long time. I would say Bloomreach probably was the first one that really integrated these two. But I'm not going to suggest that integration is always better, because in some industry, you don't require that. Because when you incorporate your CDP as part of CMS layer, then you are sort of tight coupling it with that layer. So I don't know which is the better strategy. When I look at these stories, I see a lot of overlap. That's my problem with these stories. So that's where I would put this into. And I don't know how relevant real time is going to be here. Maybe they have something, but for the most part, I see a lot of overlap.
For serving content real time is quite relevant, especially
Yeah.
in the context of journeys.
But in the headless world, you are probably going to have 15 components. They are all going to have their own sort of data stores. So how do you construct that model and serve that real time? Is this going to be your go-to personalization engine, or do you have another personalization engine? And where all are you personalizing? Is CMS responsible for your email and SMS channel as well? In this case, it would not be, because this is a pure play CMS. So where do you draw the line, I guess, is going to be a question.
Those lines are increasingly blurring. That's exactly that's probably their point for coming forward with it, because you can't do only content. You can't do, well, everybody, quote unquote, does journeys, be it marketing journeys or campaigns or whatever stuff, or customer journeys that need to get optimized. So from that point of view, it makes sense. So they probably they probably want to get out of an endangered niche.
Yeah, and go ahead, Thomas. Sorry.
Well, I just wanted to get to that question. I just asked Perplexity. So they seem to have a pretty decent security and privacy framework. So without going into details there, and without verifying what Perplexity tells me.
Yeah, and on this comment, I guess I would say, if you have 15 different data stores in your architecture, let's not even talk about data privacy regulations. It's not going to work. I guarantee this.
Well, they're about personalization. That contradicts privacy to some extent. Yeah. But well, then based on real-time data, this is not necessarily, well, click streams, for example, this is not necessarily too privacy related, with an emphasis on the two, because if you identify the person with that, which you can because you're maybe logged in or have a bunch of cookies that is already a bit older, then there is a gray zone as well.
Yeah. All right, let's hit the next one with Mosaicx.
Okay.
So they have a new next gen Engage platform. I think that's the name of it. But anyways, this gives more of a better customer experience platform, combining voice automation analytics into I guess they call it like a smart routing. The vendors, they have more of a parsed parity with the different ways that they can use voice in the different verticals, and it helps consolidate this all for the customers, giving them more regulated details for different industries. I think they talk about finance and healthcare. What do we all think of this? Is this a little bit more apropos to technology, or is it more of a press release situation? I like this one, actually.
So Engage probably would be the right term to put it in the context when you compare this with Braze or Pegasystems. This is where your personalization or the real-time element really comes in. And they are saying that I'm next gen, meaning, Pegasystems or Braze, they are probably going to be outdated very soon. Where I'm lost on this story is when they are saying that it combines the power of LLMs and agentic AI. I have no idea how you do that. So that would be a press release situation, Robert.
Yep.
That comment.
That would be for sure. So we don't know if the comms people are as of technology savvy as the head of product. Maybe they should be talking to each other.
we probably should make it a default action to have the hype meter. Start with the hype meter.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. So to that extent, I agree. So also with what Lena just says. Where I struggle is that so many a vendor limits CX to customer service. A customer service, a CX platform. This is a part of a customer service platform that they are offering. And this is by far not a CX platform that they are offering. Yeah. To Sam's statement, so having an LLM underlying an agentic infrastructure is probably a good idea these days. So the connection is certainly there. But
let's talk about the positives. What does this do for the customers? Is it worthwhile, or is this just a is it just only about hype? I think there's some value.
No,
here.
it's not only about hype. The underlying idea is what many other vendors have as well: make workflows, and it's right there in the middle of the replaces rigid intent-based workflows.
I see
with
that.
adaptive interaction. So that is the idea: become more flexible in your workflows.
Yeah, but I think it repositions Mosaicx, from legacy telecom to more of a full CX provider. But I think
they are not a full CX provider.
they're claiming they are,
because they're focusing on customer service, and not everything in CX is customer service.
Yeah. Ken, what do you think?
I think in this case, this is representative of a broader industry trend around where a company starts off, they have a particular offer or technology that has them play in a space, and they look to all their adjacencies to see who are we going up against, what are our customers saying that they need, and then looking to take and provide those kinds of solutions, whether that be through organic development, acquisition of technology, or acquisition of a third party that can now broaden their technology stack for their customer base. And the thing that's really kind of, I think, a bit squirrely about it is that it really places the burden on the end user customer to have to sort out what is the right mix of capability and the right price point to be able to satisfy whatever need they've got. And quite frankly, when you look at some of the no and low code automation tools that are available to folks, and the number of integrations that come out of the box, sure, you may decide that you want to do this because you've already invested in the platform, but you also may say that, hey, look, I've got something, I've got a source of data. Why don't I just wire it up myself and connect it to an LLM? Is the difference really that great that would have me want to pay a premium for the capability that they're providing?
I mean, we have seen that in many a story that we covered in the previous 24 episodes. It's often about acquiring adjacent capabilities, either by acquisition or by partnering. So, and there is industry-wide, can be seen really wide here. It's the whole technology industry where we are getting out of the focus of fixing a single problem, the startup-minded approach of solving a problem, because the customers have many of them. And sort of they need to, they are related to each other. So that is probably the constant pendulum that's going on. So once companies grow, they need to solve more than just one single problem, or else.
Correct.
Well, I like what you're saying, Thomas. And here's the key question I've got. What is the half-life of a problem that a company is trying to solve? I think that actually is going down substantially. So that by the time you have the idea of what you want to build, do you still have the runway to be able to bring something to market at the right price point with the right set of capabilities to be able to satisfy the need before somebody cannibalizes it? That's a serious risk today.
Yeah, I mean, why do startups pivot that often and fast? Yeah, that's exactly the consequence of this half-life problem. And one can't be sure that one is the only one who had that particular idea.
Yeah.
Sam, do you want to wrap it up on this one? Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty good. If you want to go to the next one, we can go to the next.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
So Salesforce embeds Slack directly into the CRM. I'm not sure this is monumental or long overdue. I know they bought Slack in 2021, so I didn't know it. I'm not sure why it took so long to do that. I know it's probably a pretty substantial feature, but if those companies that use Slack, but from my perspective, I would think it's a good feature, but I'm not sure it's this huge news. What do you all think?
So in my mind, I guess They have been trying to do this for a long time. That's why they had acquired Slack, and they paid such a high price for that. It's just that I don't think it worked, to be completely honest, or worked to the extreme that they were really hoping. What they really wanted to do is this whole chat-driven, interface for the whole CRM workflow for the customer communities, etc.
Yeah.
But now the AI experience has changed the game, because now this is all chat. So if the chatbots are popular, Slack has to be popular. So they are trying to marry these two, and they are also trying to marry the data aspect to it. So now this is going to be really powerful, to be completely honest, the way I see it. The community experience was extremely powerful, not only for your internal workflows, also for your external workflows. But now you are going to get the whole drill down in terms of data. Obviously, it's going to be a siloed perspective in terms of data, because it's still very CRM. Their claim is going to be that now they have 2 data products, and they can bring in pretty much everything that is going to be relevant from the sales and marketing perspective. But this is still very CX, very sales and marketing. But I like it, to be completely honest.
You're saying that you don't think it was done years ago because it was not, it wasn't vetted, it wasn't working like it should have. So this took this long. Why would it have taken this long?
So, I mean, they have had many different directions, and because their space was being disrupted, the whole Slack experience. In general, Salesforce is very good at creating newer categories. They define categories, they lead with categories, and this is going to be a new category. So one of the changes since 2015, the change that happened in the market was the emergence of newer platforms such as your Monday.com, your Notion, which one am I missing here? Notion ClickUp is there. So they had slightly fluid model for the project management. Their goal was always, combine the interaction, combine the project management, combine sales and marketing workflows together as part of Slack. So initially what they wanted to do is they wanted to launch sort of the channels, and those channels are going to be nothing but your projects. But they didn't fly, I guess, with the customers. That didn't work. So then AI came along somewhere in, I don't know, maybe 2019, 2020, or maybe later. And that's when they had to pivot their strategy. And now they are focusing a lot more on AI-centric workflows, because the same workflows that they were trying to create inside Slack, now they would be far more powerful with the help of AI. So that's how I see it. It's all a journey, but it's moving too fast. So they are not able to keep up, I guess.
So, Thomas, I know you're chomping at the bit over there because it's all about CRM. What do you think?
Well, you asked whether that was about time or overdue. I think it became inevitable. I do not think that Salesforce looked at what they are doing right now when they were acquiring Slack. This was more in the lines of what Sam just said, I think. However, I'm saying for years now that the conversation becomes the new user interface. I don't know, since 2019 or 2020 since I'm saying that. And look at where people are digitally. And so they are conversing with people, they are conversing internally as externally, and they are conversing on websites. So what they do not want to do is log in each time into their bloody CRM application whenever they need to do something. So the mobility aspect better becomes digital as well. So not only on the mobile phone, but have the application come to me where I am digitally right now. So this is what they started off with. And this gets a real boost with whatever we have as AI capabilities right now. So the past few years, there's probably simply wasn't the grunt to pull that off. And now we have the grunt and the algorithms and the UI. So this was, I think this is big. This is big, and this is here to stay.
Okay. Well, we got anything from the audience on this one, Sam?
We have on the previous story, so let's cover them. So I'm going to touch them on these. So Leonard is saying, and this is a very interesting comment. Okay, so he's saying they may lose some potential customers when they say a like legacy solutions instead of saying integrate with legacy system solution. I'm actually going to bring the previous story here so that everybody has context in terms of what he's talking about. And I don't know if they are able to read it because we have the video widget here. But for the most part, my comment is going to be, and I should have probably wrapped when you asked me, Robert, on that story. So I had one comment there related to the whole AI native experience. And AI native is going to be a newer category. The way you had cloud native. With cloud native, you had millions and millions of apps. They disrupted the market of legacy players. So, Leonard, we might be reading between the words here, but for the most part, I mean, that's a new category, and there would be challenge for legacy players as well. So it doesn't matter how they define it, but the product is real. It has real value, and legacy players, regardless of how much they innovate, they will struggle. It's not going to be easy for them. Versus a brand new company that is creating this in the AI native world, obviously their solution is going to be sexy.
Agree. I think Leonard pulls off a Thomas here and reads the negative part into it. So I would read that for once positively, so that they re-architectured their whole system to have their AI built in as the core of it and not just bolted it on. Yeah. And the legacy solutions are, of course, the competitors they want to replace with their own one. So I'm a bit more positive on that one.
Yeah. All right. I think we got a couple for the next one too, Sam, for Salesforce.
Yeah. So I'll read this one. So Leonard is saying maybe they could get all the millions of Slack users into some parts of the Salesforce ecosystem, perhaps even a light version. So I think one of the challenges that they have faced, and most of the freemium offerings face, is to make it commercial. So I don't know if they are going to be real Salesforce users. Obviously, that was their intent, that they could probably do that. But I don't know how successful they have been. In fact, the other challenge that Salesforce has faced in the past is to convert any of the, the beginner version, what is that called? I don't know the name of that. They have a very cheap version for the CRM, but that's a completely different product than what they have for enterprise. It's a completely different data store. It's a very different migration path. They are not able to convert even that. So it's very hard to pretend that you can act as both, I guess, as the freemium plus your small business plus your enterprise. I mean, Salesforce, for the most part, I mean, it's a very large business enterprise-centric solution in general, the way it is designed.
That's certainly part of their play. I mean, they for years have their small business solutions. Right now it's called Starter, so, which also increasingly get integrated with Slack and Einstein. So the challenge there is basically the commercials. That's the challenge for Salesforce, the commercials, which they are working on very hard. So so they will get the millions of will want to get the millions of Slack users into their system or their application system ecosystem. They are working hard on that, and I think they are on a good way. So some of the smaller vendors may probably become a bit defensive.
We got one more question from
Salesforce. Still has the tendency of becoming expensive easily, so that's a good line of defense for the other ones.
Yeah, so one more comment here from Ron. Ron is saying implementing a work operating system can require, that's a very interesting term, generally used for the likes of Monday.com, Smartsheet, etc., can require significant change management training and overcoming potential resistance from users who may prefer their existing workflows. I mean, that's given with any, enterprise cross-functional ERP-centric solutions, I guess, even if it is going to be as small as work operating system. So, yeah.
Do you think that's a good topic, though? Do you think that companies, when they buy something or they're going to go through some type of transformation, that they're prepared for this? Because I think that everything's oversold and done. They don't have. I think you go through change management, but also do you have the resources and the intellect to do the change management? Meaning, do you have the technical resources and the people power? So I think that's a gigantic component of anything. Like you said, Sam, it's involved in any transformation, but I think that that's where things crash. I mean, you even go look at the ERP. We talked about it before the show. Where do most of these transformations fail? Is it at the beginning in change management probably, or is it fear factor, which is before that?
There's a prerequisite step that needs to happen here, and that's one of the things I've been working with customers on. And for example, I use project management as a good example of how this kind of manifests itself as a problem. And I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's about capabilities. So yep. Project management is not one size fits all, right? Yep. So project management can be used at a small scale with a team of 2 or 3, all the way up to an enterprise context where you have enterprise project and program management. And the capabilities of those tools cover a vast spectrum of stuff. So you can't just look at it and say, oh, well, we're gonna use now Microsoft Project, and then everything else that's project related is going to go away. No, you have to understand it from a role perspective, what people are trying to do, and then looking at what my cost for that capability is to be able to serve that role. Because you might decide that, okay, we are going to rationalize the portfolio of products that we're using and say, we're not going to use this, but we're going to actually help one segment of the user community actually now move over to a new technology that has similar capabilities, but it provides us potentially with, we might have a buying advantage because we're buying more seats so we can get a lower price. It's going to help us from a support perspective. There's a lot of benefits that can come, but you actually have to think through it first and understand what people are actually doing. And I find for the most part, that does not happen.
I mean, there's a reason that transformation project or even simple ERP or CRM projects fail that often. I mean, the stories are legend, right? So that's, and where and why do they fail? Because these thoughts haven't been taken, they haven't been done, haven't been thought to an end. The law says that the 2 topics that got cut off first in any implementation project are change management and quality. So he is spot on. So there is significant change management and training. And you better include your people when you're doing something. You move them, go along with them on this transition road. Then the resistance will be less. This is why I don't know why this is a lesson that needs to get learned over and over again.
Yeah. Well, if you want to guarantee you've got change resistance, go ahead and do something by fiat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Thomas, I mean, this is not changing in next 100 years. I guarantee this.
No.
Okay. and the reason why it is not changing is everything comes down to dollars. Okay. We all have tendency to believe that there is magic wand, there is crystal ball. Okay. There are shortcuts, there are deals, there are discounts. There's none. I guarantee this.
Add one word as a prefix to dollars. It boils down to short-term dollars. Yeah. Because on the long term, it's just far more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, it's all, leadership, hiring, the way people are hired, what kind of skill set you are hiring. Again, you are overcommitting pretty much everywhere. You are thinking that everything is going to be okay, even if we suck. That's where the real problem. It's all dollars.
It's one of the reasons why I start to hate the word leadership. Because what these companies are doing is lack of leadership.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's do one more and see what we can do here. Let's go to Talkdesk.
Yeah.
Getting back on track. Good that we have
back on track. I got to keep you guys on track. So Talkdesk is a cloud contact center platform, and they just achieved the FedRAMP moderate, which I think is is that correct? That's kind of a big deal because that's more of how the government actually, it's a secure U.S. government security standard, and how they actually buy services for these federal agencies. So to be able to be in that playground, I think is a big deal for them, and it gives more capabilities for this company. Let's go through what would you guys all think, but I think it's kind of a big deal that they achieved this. This is probably a little bit more this authorization than just hype. I think it gives them more into this industry and capabilities to achieve more. Thoughts?
FedRAMP is huge, without a doubt. Companies that embark on a FedRAMP journey are in for a significant amount of pain because a lot of the things that they need to do in terms of satisfy the requirements to get the different levels of conformance to conformance to FedRAMP, it's pretty significant. So when you think about their ability now I think that this gives them staying power. Because when you look at the fact that they can now be added to GSA schedules and not have any issue with trying to, be FedRAMP compliant. Well, yeah, 2 thumbs up. That's huge. It takes a lot of the blockers that they would have experienced working on the federal front, and then just actually removes them, which is, I think, really a strong play. Now, whether or not federal budgets are going to cooperate with them and them actually successful, that is an open story. But I think it gives them a lot more staying power than what they had before.
Sure. It's a big achievement. But Thomas, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, can only repeat Ken. So it's a big thing if you want, and it's a must if you want to play in that arena. Simple as. And I don't know how strong the competition there is, but without you are not even a competition. Yeah, so
there's competition everywhere, but I believe so. So, but I think this skinnies that competition down. To, like Ken was saying, it's a big deal to have this, and if you do achieve it, then it's a smaller competition group within that. But
and I mean, especially when it comes to agencies that require more, let's say, safety, that are more security conscious,
Any of the TLAs,
to military, let's say, enforcement. When it comes to enforcement agencies, they need that, and we have just seen that there is significant additional funding there. So I wouldn't be too worried about the funding, but more about the other people who are after it as well. It might have better connections.
Sure. They still have to beat the competition on price and what their product is going to do for the company or the agency. So
probably.
Yeah, and I don't think the government makes quick decisions as well. So what are your thoughts, Sam?
Yeah, so I guess I don't know. I think we have done one story on these guys, and last time I asked, okay, how big these guys are, and somebody said they were fairly big. That's my recollection of this particular vendor or the story. I'm not very familiar with them, and I don't know how much business they were doing in the government space. So it's likely that they might be starting to sell in the government space. We should do that in 2024, 2025. When economy is down, the only security is going to be government accounts. So that's a smart move, I would say. But at the same time, I guess this is more of a checkbox and a deal. If you don't have that, you don't participate in a deal. If you are serious about selling to government, you have to have that. So it's likely that, they are probably starting in this space, or, they were losing a lot of deals. Maybe they figured out that maybe we should get that.
I think the only thing that's actually worth calling out here is that because of the nature of the certification, exactly how much of the core product capability is actually included as part of the approved product. And then number two, from a new feature and function development perspective, that's going to require additional push-ups on their part to actually get that included. So from an innovation perspective, are they going to be able to keep up that product with what they do in the commercial world? So there's probably going to be a bit of a gap between what's available on the Fed perspective and then what's available to the general commercial community.
So Ken, in my experience, generally companies have two different products for the two different markets because it's a different play.
Yeah.
And you are right that that's probably going to be overbloated for the commercial segment.
As Ken just said, so they are putting themselves into quite a lot of additional pain for additional functionality, for additional deliveries, because that needs to stay conformant as well if they want to keep the certificate. So it's a good reason to keep two lines of business there.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't do it if they wouldn't see a significant upside to it. And that's why it's a good thing. For them, it's a good thing. It's a bold move.
All right, let's jump into our wrap. I got a kind of good wrap up. We got a pretty good question here. Let's talk about what we think about AI. Is it making a difference or is it just noise? Let's go around the horn here and see, is it driving outcomes or is it driving headlines? So where is it really making an impact? Let's talk a little bit, two things, professionally and personally. Thomas, you go first.
I just yesterday stumbled across a study that looked at first and second level results of AI. So far, we are barely at getting business results at the first level. It's basically only chip vendors who are really profiting from it. And if I'm looking at chip vendors, we probably can reduce that to one. So we do not yet, on an AI level, business-wise, can't generative AI level, I need to say. There's lots of more to AI than the current type. So we can't yet really say whether the real values in the models, which increasingly get commoditized already, or on the applications, which are getting commoditized as well. So we just don't know that. That probably needs to be there for some time to really gauge that. Mm-hmm. On a personal level, heck, it's helping me a lot. As I said before, I did my route planning via this. Great. I did study where to buy a house with the help of generative AI. So on a consumer level, there's help. My whole search patterns changed. I'm not only getting linked lists, but I'm getting increasingly good answers.
That's nice.
It still pays off to do some trust but verify, right?
But trust and verify. Sounds good. What about you, Ken?
Well, so the thing I would say is that I think that there's certainly lots of potential in the technology, without a doubt. Where our primary shortcoming is right now is literacy. So is the workforce actually prepared to use the range of tools that's available to it? I would say no. From a personal perspective, I know that I leverage AI technology on substantially because it's a huge productivity boost. Mm-hmm. And I'm always looking for what the next thing is and what people are developing and what kinds of special purpose models are available. There's loads of, but you have to be either, number one, incented to do that, or number two, you have to be curious. And I think to the extent that you can actually combine both, that's actually a really great thing. But organizations need to do more around ensuring that the level of literacy around AI and related technologies that relates to the work that their people are doing needs to come up substantially before we really see like, wow, this is a game changer.
Yeah.
Right now, we've got the potential for a game changer, but we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. We have the potential. I think it's adding confusion to the mix, but at the same time offering some amazing capabilities. But it does come back to your data. So if your data is good and you have the capabilities in-house with change management and resources to actually execute, I think AI can be fantastic, but it does add a lot of confusion if those components are not put together. From a personal perspective, I think it shortcuts a lot of the research that we all do, because it brings together a lot of resources into one place to give you outputs that are fantastic. Sam, what about you?
Yeah, so interesting discussion. And, I do believe that AI is a real gold rush. Things are going to change substantially. So it's not just hype. There's a lot to it. There's a lot. And we are barely scratching the surface right now in terms of what all we are going to see in the next 5 years. But that doesn't necessarily bother me, to be completely honest, okay? Personally, I'm a little bit more scared from the AI perspective. And the reason for that is because my wife is getting emotional support from AI, and I'm not very good at that. Okay.
Oh my God.
So there's a little competition here.
Well, you probably get the SAM bot.
I probably need to do that. That's probably a better interaction.
This has been great, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a wrap, guys. If you joined for the first time, this was part of Analysts Gone Wild. We meet every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys are going to be here next week. I'll see you.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the WBS Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information on growth strategies for SMBs using ERP and digital transformation, check out our community at WBS.rocks. We'll see you next time.